breaking news tonight. In the search for Zahra Baker, cops now say they have found a bone. That's right, a bone that may be related to this very disturbing case. Could it belong to little Zahra, who is believed to be dead? Plus, earth-shaking insight into the mind of Zahra's stepmom. You will not believe what's inside these jailhouse letters purportedly written by Elisa Baker. While little Zahra remains missing, her stepmom, Elisa, allegedly starts corresponding with the owners of a website called SerialKillersInc.net. These letters, obtained exclusively by Nancy Grace, are believed to be from Elisa Baker, the lady in the pink right there, behind bars tonight. The contents are very disturbing. She writes, he, meaning Adam, her husband, the father of the missing girl, knows what happened to Zahra. And yet I'm the one in here, at least for now. We really didn't kill her, but what he did after the fact is kinda horrifying. Makes me scared of him, end quote. Meantime, Zahra's father, Adam Baker, has been evicted from his home and the neighbors are turning on him. Listen to this.
You ought to be in jail. You ought to be hung.
Your own daughter, your flesh and blood.
I'm angry, extremely angry. He deserves to be locked up. He deserves to be in jail.
Could these jailhouse letters and the discovery of this bone give cops the break they have been desperately looking for? I want to hear from you. Call me 1-877-JVM says, straight out to Mike Brooks, HLN law enforcement analyst, the significance of this bone.
I tell you, Jane, if usually you don't see law enforcement come out with a statement that says, hey, we might have found a bone that's in reference to the Zahra Baker case. If they weren't sure it was her bone, they wouldn't have put it out in a statement. No, this is huge, but they're not saying, Jane, where exactly they found this bone.
Well, who can forget Adam Baker crying about his daughter with the cops by his side? Boo-hoo-hoo. Watch this from Good Morning America.
I think just about every officer in Hickory came to the house, and I haven't really seen my wife since then. I just hope I can get my daughter back. I miss her so much.
In one of Elisa Baker's jailhouse letters, she writes, Zahra isn't missing. The cops know where she is and what he has done. That's right, what he has done. So, Stacey Honowitz, you're the Florida prosecutor. If so, why haven't they found Zahra's remains? And more important, why is Adam Baker still free when the stepmom, Elisa Baker, is behind bars?
Well, we know that she was arrested originally or indicted on obstruction of justice because she confessed to writing a fake ransom note. And now they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. First of all, they have surveillance on him. They're watching him 24/7 to make sure he doesn't try to flee the country, because he is not only a person of interest, but he's a suspect, especially based on what she has said. Now that this bone has been found, and as Mike said, they really wouldn't have put it out there unless they knew, A, it was a human bone as opposed to, you know, an animal bone, and B, that it probably belonged to this child. They want an airtight case against him before he's arrested. Certainly, they have been tracking him since day one. When he made that original phone call, you could hear it in his voice. He wasn't frantic. He thought that maybe she was taken by mistake. He said that he hadn't seen her in a long time, that she only came out of her room because maybe she was going through puberty. I mean, all these clues with these seasoned veteran detectives are adding up. And so they want an airtight case against him before he's actually indicted.
And by the way, Elisa Baker, the stepmom, is now saying her husband, the missing girl's father, wrote the ransom note, even though she's in jail for obstructing justice, allegedly, because she apparently initially told him she wrote it. Now she's pointing the finger at him for the ransom note, too. Tara Servatius, host of the Tara Servatius show, WBT in Charlotte. You've been on top of this case from the start. Tell us about the discovery of this bone, and where was it in relation to the discovery of the prosthetic leg?
Well, this is all in the same area around the house that Lisa Baker used to live in a while back. And so they're sort of finding these things scattered in the general area, they're telling us.
Okay, well,
So,
what do you mean the general area? I mean, how far? 100 miles away? 5 miles away?
oh, okay. No, I don't know that exactly. But it's the Christie Road house that they're talking about, and they say they found the bone in an area where carcasses are usually dumped. You know, deers hunting, that kind of thing. And the area smells absolutely terrible, they said.
But it's an area near where she used to live, the stepmom.
Yes.
All right. Look, in these jailhouse letters, believed to have been written by Elisa Baker, she writes, quote, "We really didn't kill her, but what he did after the fact is kind of horrifying, makes me scared of him," end quote. So here's my big issue. Is Zahra's body perhaps scattered? I know it's a very gruesome thought, but let's assume for a moment that this bone that they found does belong to Zahra. Cops also find the prosthetic leg. Okay, so they find that in one place, they find this bone in another place. They've searched mulch piles, a wood chipper, landfill, a pond. So, Dr. Dale Archer, you're the psychiatrist. Could Elisa Baker be suggesting that Zahra's father, Adam, mutilated the child's corpse and then scattered it in bits and pieces? After all, he did have access to wood chippers as part of his job.
Well, I think the one thing that we know is that child abuse was suspected here for a long time. Neighbors, family, friends, they talked about it. And I got to say that in terms of the culpability here, anyone out there needs to understand, if you suspect child abuse, call child protection. It will be confidential, and you've done your duty to protect the child. But you put all that together in this case, Jane, you have, in my mind, two evil people that are now trying to position themselves for the other to take the fall.
Yeah, and remember, the father hasn't even been named a suspect. Now, Mike Brooks, I'm going to go to you. The same question. Could it be that since she says what he did was kind of horrific after the child died, is she implying that perhaps he completely destroyed the body? Because what else would she be referring to after the child died?
Right, and why would she be scared of him? So, yes, you know, if what she's saying is truthful, then yes, there's a very good possibility he could have scattered it. There's a good possibility he could have put it somewhere, and animals also, Jane, could have scattered it. But we don't know for sure. But one thing I do find interesting, too, in reference to this case, they were at their house basically tearing apart walls. What does that say to me? That says to me that they probably went in with some luminol, sprayed it around, which detects traces of blood. Then they go ahead and take this wall out of there. So maybe they're finding potential evidence there. Also leaving with huge evidence bags, Jane.
Gail, Florida, your question or thought, ma'am?
Yes, hi, Jane. I really followed this case, and I really enjoy your show. You kind of covered what I was thinking. I know this guy does wood chipping. I can't, if I was going to dispose of a dead body, if I was a psycho like I think both of these people are, I would probably put the body through the wood chipper. And then they claimed there was a fire, which I think they burned up her flesh. I don't know that this bone's related at all. I think this man...
Okay, good point. I'm going to go to Mike Brooks back on this because she raises some very, very important issues. But wouldn't they have found the remains in that fire?
Oh, absolutely. Because it's harder than people think to burn a body up, you know, just out in the open. And in reference to the wood chipper, Jane, they've cleared that wood chipper because the area of interest that the dog hit on was the engine part of that wood chipper. But law enforcement also, they took some other tests around the inside of the wood chipper, and apparently that was not involved in Zahra's
All right, and I got to say that in her letter, she writes things like Goth's rule, Vamp's rule, be part of the freak show. I always wanted to grow up and be a vampire. Are you kidding me? When your stepdaughter is missing, you're writing about wanting to be a vampire? Okay, Nancy Grace has a team on the ground in Hickory.